والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم محمد
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين وأصحابه المنتجبين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Let us recite Surah Al-Fatiha for all your marhumin, all mu'mineen, mu'minat, all martyrs of Islam. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم قال الله جل وعلا في محكم كتابه الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألم أعهد إليكم يا بني آدم ألا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين ونعبدوني هذا صراط مستقيم. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Holy Quran, He says, did I not enjoin upon you, O children of Adam, that you not worship Satan, for indeed he is to you a clear enemy, and that you worship only me, and this is the straight path. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters in Islam and faith and in humanity, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking in the Holy Quran about the Shaitan. And the reason why we have chose this topic, which is Shaitan and how he misguides mankind, is because we find that once we finish this series, or you already know, that you find there is so much evil going on in the world today. You find it in the media, it's very prevalent, especially when it comes to the issue of Islamophobia. You find that there are many groups that are being attributed to Islam, and in the name of Islam, they are conducting terror acts and acts of injustice against humanity. And unfortunately, it is because you find that at the same time, on the same token, that there are those who are uneducated about Islam, and more specifically, according to what we are speaking about and according to the lecture series of these 2 weeks, is that you find that unfortunately those who are doing these acts in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the name of His Holy Prophet, you find that to us, we see them as misguided. We see them as misled and not following the right path. Because alhamdulillah, we are the real followers of Allah, which are the ones who follow the 14 infallibles. And it's because of this education and the tools that they have given us, we are able to see the difference. However, those who are doing these evil acts, they think that they are doing the right act, but in fact, they are following the Shaitan instead of Allah, because they don't know the tricks and the plays of Shaitan. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking about these two kinds of paths. And so far we went through the existence of Shaitan and the benefits of his existence, and why did Allah keep him alive. And yesterday we spoke about the first quality of Shaitan, and that's where we are today. You find Allah in Surah Yasin, He says there are two paths to get to Sirat al-Mustaqim. You find it very clearly, which is not to worship Shaitan and to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when Islam came, it came with a certain formula, and that formula is La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha stands for not obeying shaitan, and illallah stands for i'buduni. Wa in i'buduni hadha siratun mustaqim. Ahsant. So the first quality that we learned is that when Allah speaks about shaitan, He says, كَمَثَلِ الشَّيْطَانِ إِذْ قَالَ اكْفُرْ. An example of shaitan is that when he came and he says to you, to mankind, he says to you and me, ukfur. He's commanding us, he's giving us the amr to do kufr. So in other words, first he makes you do it, he entices you, he gives you a promise, and then after you do it, what does he do? He comes and he tells you that I have nothing to do with you. You're on your own, basically. And this is the fate of every criminal that commits a crime. Shaitan comes to him and he entices him and he persuades him to commit that crime, and then when the fate comes to him, the judge gives him the verdict that you're sentenced for life, he goes to jail, and he tells him, oh Shaitan, I did what you asked me to do, but now I'm in jail, get me out. There's no out. And there's even a worse punishment coming for you on the day of judgment. So this is the trait and the quality of shaitan. So the fact of the matter is that the truth is that shaitan never made us do anything. He's not going to take your hand and tell you to go and to steal out of the cookie jar. He's not going to force your hand over there. You yourself, you're going to pick yourself up and go and take from the cookie jar. So, for example, when you're driving on the highway and you see that billboard of that nice McDonald's double fish fillet, and you're thinking to yourself, or the brother mentioned to me, he took me to QT yesterday and we got some nice iced tea. So he gave me the example of in Ramadan when you're driving going to Zainabiya and you see that nice, ice cold and we're still fasting, right? And the ice and the nice cold iced tea and the different flavors, you can only imagine. So this is it's like when you're driving, you're distracted by that billboard. It's the same thing with shaitan. His insinuations are like that billboard on the highway or on the road. So he's not making us take that exit or that turn into QT. He's just showing us the way, the path to get there. And then when we see, but the iced tea is not a good example because that's good for you. Okay. So, but when you go, say for example, to a bad place, what does shaitan come and do? He comes and he says, "Inni bari'un minka, inni akhafullah Rabbal Alameen." That I am innocent from you. I have nothing to do with you. I fear Allah. MashaAllah. Shaitan is coming and he's saying, he's a muttaqi all of a sudden. He fears Allah. He's saying, "Inni akhafullah." So, hence, shaitan, he misguides you, but he doesn't take the blame for it. So now the first quality of shaitan is that he makes a promise and then he breaks it, and then he tells you to do it, and then he doesn't take the blame for it, and then he says, I have nothing to do with you. So therefore, the first characteristic of the shaitan is that he is unfaithful. When we come to the opposite of that, the unfaithfulness, you find the promise and the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You find that Allah does not need to give us any promises. Why? Because the very feet that you stand on when you pray, these are the feet that were given to you by Allah. The very hands that you have, the eyes, everything, all the energy, everything that you have, all the blessings is from Allah. That's why when we stand for prayer, we say, Inna salati wa nusuki wa mahyaya wa mamati lillahi Rabbil Alameen. That everything we do, oh Allah, is for your sake. Even my salah, my doings, everything that I do. That's why the secret to success, and one of my teachers have told me this in the Hawza, that anything that you want to do, that you want to be successful in, and of course has to be good, is that you should have the intention in your heart that I am doing this first to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then to do my duty as a human being. So once you have this intention in your heart and in your soul, then success is guaranteed. And this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stresses so much in the Holy Quran about those who are successful in purifying their souls. And basically when you carry the idea in your mind that everything that you do is qurbatan ila Allah ta'ala. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. So now we understand that a mu'min is someone who believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and who is confident and determined in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when you look at yourself, do you think as yourself as a believer or as a disbeliever? Inshallah, if you're a mu'min, obviously then you are a believer. But the ones who follow the path of Shaitan, they are not following the path of a mu'min. And you will see that I'm going to give you two examples of men who in the history, it was recorded, and they decided and they determined their own akhirah in one night. Only one night, and this one night, their destiny was decided. And we will see from these examples if they were on the path of Allah or if they were on the path of Shaitan. Then we will come and we will question ourselves and we will say, are we on the path of Allah or are we on the path of Shaitan? So the first person whose life and akhirah was decided in one night was a person named by Umar ibn Sa'd. La'natullahi alayh. He was the person who led the army of Yazid, and he was responsible for the killing of Imam Hussein and the children of the Holy Prophet. This Umar ibn Sa'd was approached by Ibn Ziyad. Ibn Ziyad, he came to him and he said to him that I have an offer for you. And he said, really? You have an offer for me? You have a job? What's that job? So the job and the offer is to kill Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. He said, oh really? He said, yes, I am hiring you to kill Imam Hussein. He said, oh okay, you're hiring me to kill Imam Hussein. Which Imam Hussein? The Imam Hussein that you're talking about is the one that the Prophet said about him that he's one of the youth of paradise? Is he the one that was climbing on top of the back of the Prophet when he would pray, and then the Prophet would wait for him to get off of his back so he can finish his prayer? Was he the one that he said, Husaynun minni wa ana min Husayn, that Husayn is from me, and I am from Husayn? That's the one that you're talking about? He said, yes, that's the one that I'm talking about. He said, okay, you want me to kill him for what? In return for what? So Ibn Ziyad tells him that I will give you the government of Ray, and I will give you the city of Ray, in which those days it was a prosperous city. So Umar ibn Sa'd, he looked at one side, which was the killing of Imam Hussein and dunya, and the other hand, he will be rewarded the city of Ray. So he looks at these both things, and he tells him, listen, I need some time to think, I need to think it over, I can't make a decision right now, let me think it over, and I'll give you my response. So Ibn Ziyad said, okay, sleep on it, and then let me know how it comes out. So he comes back and he starts thinking, should I do it or should I not? The job offer is there, the reward is there. Now let's bring it to our own understanding and see how we can understand it better. Like for example, you're looking for a job and you get a very great job offer. It's a perfect job, the best job you can ever dream of. You know, you have the benefits, the 401k, the perks, the paid vacations, and then you have this company just came out with this something new that, you know, you get free Slurpees and popcorn all day. All day, unlimited, whatever you want. All the flavors, all the Slurpee flavors, you know, like the 7-Eleven flavors. I'm kind of feeling like 7-Eleven right now. Slurpee. Yeah, but we're, okay. So, yeah, so imagine all that for free, you know, like an open buffet of Slurpees and popcorn. So, but the only thing, you know, and also, you know, when you got the interview, you know, you're so confident about the interview, you know, you're gonna land the job, you pop your collar, you know, the brothers, you know, I think it's cool sometimes, you know, to go and pop your collar. Okay, no, that's not funny. Okay, so you go for the interview, and you get the job under one condition. And that condition is that you cannot have any breaks from 12 to 8 o'clock, to 8 p.m. Now, what does that mean? That means that you'll have to work from that time, from 12 to 8. But what are you going to have to sacrifice? You're going to have to sacrifice your dhuhr and asr prayers. You won't be able to pray them because you're going to be working the whole time. So now you have two options. You either choose the job and sacrifice Allah's command, or you choose Allah's command over the job. So the idea is, what kind of popularity do you seek? Do you seek that popularity of the dunya, which is Shaitan's way of becoming popular or being a popular person, which is that of only dunya? And we will find that in most cases you don't even get dunya if you follow this path of wanting to become popular. However, if you follow the path of Allah, which is رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً. If you follow Allah's path, you will become popular amongst not only the earth but the skies. And this is why there is a famous hadith that says a law of success, that says ما أصلح ما بينه وبين ربه أصلح الله ما بينه وبين الناس. That whoever improves his relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he will guarantee his relationship with the people. Why? It's because once you have gained the trust of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will instill that same trust in the people. And their hearts will incline to you. They will come to you, and all the blessings will come to you, and you don't know why. You may not recognize it, but this is because Allah is making their hearts incline to you. This is the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is the way we can become popular not only in the skies but on earth as well. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So this is a decision that Umar ibn Sa'ad had to make, and these are the decisions that we have to face daily in our lives. We have to make these type of decisions every day. And just like we have a saying that says كل يوم عاشوراء وكل أرض كربلاء. Every day is Ashura and every land is Karbala. Why? Because every day as human beings, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His 14 infallibles, they taught us to fight injustice wherever we may be, and to seek the freedom of all of humanity wherever we may be. And this is why every day is an Ashura and every land is a Karbala, because we seek justice for all of mankind. So therefore, Umar ibn Sa'ad had to make a decision. Should I sacrifice Hussein for dunya and for Ray, or should I sacrifice Ray and have akhirah? So now we come and we see that this is a decision that has to be made. Now, say for example, you're making $80,000 a year, and you get the city of Ray. What would that mean? That would mean that you would become a multi-million-dollar person. Now, the question really is, or a comment, side comment, if you're going to sell your Islam for a small amount of money, then you will sell all of your Islam for any amount of money.
No doubt.
Because if you have a price tag on you, then I promise you that Shaitan will meet that price tag. This is why you see that they are being bought left and right. Those who don't truly follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and don't truly follow the 14 infallibles, they are being bought left and right. Countries, governments, groups in the name of Islam, and we all know their names. We don't need to mention them. They're obvious. Hayya ala salah. And the reason is because they have sold their souls to the Shaitan. And you find many people around the world, they are the worshippers of the devil. You have to sell your soul to gain access into Shaitan's club. So you find that Umar ibn Sa'ad, he was thinking about, the decision that he had to make. Now, who is this guy, Umar ibn Sa'ad? You find that he is the son of Abi Waqqas. He is also known as one of the ones who will enter heaven, Mubashirin al-Jannah. MashaAllah. We'll come, if you ask me, who labeled him, who gave him this label, I'll tell you, I don't know, but we'll come and find out, the criteria of their criteria of the Mubashirin of al-Jannah. So you find that when Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, he was, when he was laying on his deathbed, and Ibn Muljim struck him, and he was laying on his deathbed, and it was just a few days before he passes away, he began to claim to the people, he began to tell them, Saluni, Saluni, qabla an tafqiduni. Ask me before you lose me. And you find that Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam was so knowledgeable that, you had to really, pay him to be able to get from his knowledge. And you find, unfortunately, speakers these days, they charge speakers, just regular speakers, unfortunately, in the Shia Muslim world, they charge for people asking them questions. When you find that the Imam, our Imams, they were so neglected in regards to their knowledge and people asking them meaningful questions, that the Imam himself, our first Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, had to go to the well, because that's the only one that would listen to him. This is how oppressed they are. So you find that when the Imam was laying on his deathbed, you find that, this is the Imam that we're talking about is the one in which the Prophet said about him, Ana Madinatul Ilmi wa Aliin Babuha, that I am the city of knowledge and Ali is the gate to that city of knowledge. And it's just to note, yesterday their brother took me to the Ark of St. Louis, and he told me that's the gate to the west. So the gate to the city of knowledge is Imam Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. So you find that when the Imam was laying on his bed, he told the people, ask me before you lose me. And he said, I have the knowledge of the heavens, and I know more about the heavens than I do about the earth. So this Ibn Waqqas, Sa'ad ibn Waqqas, he comes and he asks Imam Ali. He tells him, okay, Imam Ali, I have a question for you. MashaAllah, you have a question, okay. What's the question? He asked him, how many hairs do I have on my head? Out of all the questions you can ask, you ask how many hairs do I have on my head? And who are you asking? Imam al-Muttaqeen. You're asking him this question. So, imagine the Imam is wounded, and then you find, like the question that he asked, you can really tell about the level of intelligence, his IQ number score. You can really discover that. It's very obvious. So you find that the Imam is wounded. Imagine, he's wounded, he just got struck, he's on the bed, he looks at him, and he tells him, if I give you the answer, how would you verify it? Subhanallah, being in such a state, this is why they say when the Imam was in the battles, when he would fight, they tell him when he is in ruku', he's in salah, take the arrow out of him, because he would be unconscious in salah. And you find that he was so much intact even when he was wounded. So he answered this person. He told him, how would I be able to verify it? Now if you answer it, like for example, if I tell you, he told him, if I tell you, for example, you have 1 million hairs, how are you going to be able to go and count those hairs? So, if you're going to ask a question like that, then the answer is going to be even simpler than that. There's a story that was mentioned. There was a person by the name of, maybe this story is familiar to the Indian customers. This person by the name of Birbid. Birbid, he was one of the 9 gems of Akbar. Birbid? Birbid. Okay, mashallah, we have some ringing bells over here. So, Akbar was the king of India. And he was one of those assistants, and his name is Birbid? Birbid. Birbal. Yes, Father, yes. So anyways, that person that you just mentioned, he was known for his intelligence. So there are some people that did not like him, and they wanted to put him down. So they asked him, how many birds are there in the sky? So he replied, there's 1,365,334. So then they asked him, then what if there's more? He said, okay, then there are the guests that are coming this way. Then they asked him, what if there are less? Then he said, they might be in their nests. So you find that if you're going to ask a stupid question like this guy, he asked a stupid question to Imam Ali, you're going to get a stupid answer, You're going to get an answer. Of course the Imam didn't answer. He answered to him according to his stupid level. Because the Imams, of course, they talk to people according to their own level of intellect. So he had to answer him that way. So you find that the Imam also added to that answer. What did he say? He said, I'll tell you something that Rasulullah said. He mentioned to me, and I heard this from Rasulullah. He said that on every hair that you have, there is an angel that is sending la'nah on you, and that is sending la'nah on you, and that is cursing you. So Sa'd ibn Waqqas, he was literally in the state of depression. He just felt, he just like crashed into depression. And alhamdulillah, back then there were no antidepressants, no medication, so he got hit pretty hard. So the Imam did not stop there. He continued and he said, but I will tell you this much, that your son is going to kill my son Hussein. And I will make a prophecy that your son will kill my son Hussein. And this Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, he predicted this prophecy 20 years before the Battle of Karbala. And everyone heard and was listening about this man, and he was going to come and to kill Imam Hussein. So everyone was looking at Umar ibn Sa'ad and saying, هذا قاتل الحسين. So you know that Umar ibn Sa'ad, he was a big man, and he was being known amongst the people that he was going to be the killer of Imam Hussein. But you find that this Umar ibn Sa'ad, when he was hearing that the people were talking amongst themselves and saying, like Umar ibn Sa'ad is the one who's going to kill Imam Hussein, and that rumor was, going around. And the worst kind of rumor is that rumor which is word of mouth. That's the worst type of rumor, but again, it's good as well at the same time. So you find that we will just conclude very soon, inshallah. You find that this Umar ibn Sa'ad, the people were going around and they're saying, you Umar ibn Sa'ad, you're the one who's going to kill Imam Hussein. And he was from the same tribe as Imam Hussein. In fact, he grew up, he was with Imam Ali in Kufa. He grew up with the family, he grew up with Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein. He grew up with them, he knew them, who they were. And the fact of the matter is, Umar ibn Sa'ad went to Imam Hussein and he told him, oh Imam, they're coming to me and they're telling me that I'm the one who is going to kill you. I mean, it's not true. I love you. I grew up with you. We did everything together. So this Umar ibn Sa'ad is telling him that I love you, we grew up together and all of this. And then Umar ibn Sa'ad, he says, these people are stupid. Tell them they're stupid. They don't know what they're talking about. This is the reply of the Imam. He says that time will tell if you are my killer or not. And these people, they're not stupid. So this was the reply of the Imam. And you find that as we continue our discussion, and I will end it here, you will find that in our discussion we mentioned about the two kinds of paths. That path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and that path of the Shaitan. And the reason why we are going over this topic in this lecture series is because we face these decisions every single day in our lives. That I have taken the initiation, I have paid the initiation fee. When you go to the gym, you pay the initiation fee. Yeah, you've paid the initiation fee, that you have declared yourself as a follower of Allah and the 14 infallibles. And you say every single day in your salah, you say, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. Now, when we say Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim and you paid that initiation fee, are you continually paying your dues on time? Your monthly bill, are you paying it on time? Your daily dues, your monthly dues, your yearly dues. I don't know if you have a membership here in the center. Don't forget to pay your dues. So, you have to pay your dues, with your intentions and with your actions. So, inshallah, tomorrow we will continue and see what was the decision that Umar ibn Sa'ad made, and who is the other person that is on Allah's path, in which his destiny and akhirah was decided in that one night. I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us this opportunity to be amongst His guests in the holy month of Ramadan. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless this wonderful community, and to bless all the marhumeen of this community, all the mu'mineen and the mu'minat in this community, and to protect our scholars around the world, wherever they may be, and to protect our families around the world, whether they may be in Pakistan or India or Iraq or Lebanon or Syria and Palestine. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect our families, our brothers and sisters around the world from the evil hands of Satan and from all the faces of Satan, in whichever form they may come, whether they may come in the form of killing innocent people or just spreading that word of falsehood around the world. And we also pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hasten the reappearance of our 12th Imam Al-Hujjah, Ajjalallahu ta'ala Farajhu Sharif, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lastly to allow us the opportunity to strengthen our relationship with Him and with His awliya and with His followers. And let us all please recite Surah Al-Fatiha for all your marhumin, all deceased and martyrs of Islam. And before that, 3 loud salawats. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.